I'm Dana Shoaf, editor of Civil War Times Magazine, here with Melissa Wynn, director of photography, and Jake Wynn, our friend from the National Museum of Civil War Medicine. We got to go quick because we're getting low battery readings, but we are in the Mount Olivet Cemetery just south of Frederick, Maryland, which is the main burial ground really for the city. We're standing at what is known as Confederate Row. There's about 275 identified Confederates buried here. These are men who are casualties of Antietam, South Mountain, Gettysburg, and Monocacy. And we wanted you to come here because this is where some of the unfortunates that don't make it out of the hospitals end up. Some of these men died in the hospitals in Frederick and were buried here. After the war, the Federals that were also buried here were relocated to national cemeteries or other cemeteries perhaps claimed by the family. These fellows were not sent back home or claimed by their families, so they remained here, these 275 Confederate graves. There's two stones because the post-war stones started to erode, and I'm not sure when the newer stones were put in, but you can obviously read those quite well. There was a large monument here, put up in 1879. Unfortunately, it was vandalized last year, and part of it is still here, but we're not going to go down toward it today. But Jake's going to tell us a story real quick, if we have time here. One of these soldiers here with the unusual name of Raisin Pits.
Yes, so if we come down over here, this is a story that originally I got turned on to by Pat McGuire, who has a great page called History Things with Pat, does living history, and came across this stone, Raisin Pits, and got interested and has done a lot of research on this. I know there's other research projects going on about Confederate Row, including a book by Gary Dyson, who's with the Frederick County Civil War.
Oh, that's right. A book's coming out.
Book's coming out, yep. And so if you want to know more about
all these guys, yeah, they're micro-histories, all these guys, yeah.
Gary Dyson has a book coming out on that topic. But one of the best names you'll ever see in a Civil War, in Civil War unit, in this case here at a Civil War cemetery, is Raisin Pits. His real name was probably Erastus Pitts, but there's a lot more complexity to the story. Not entirely sure necessarily who may be buried in this particular grave, because one of the men who was known in the 6th Alabama as Raisin Pits was wounded at Antietam, did escape from a hospital here in Frederick, get back to Confederate lines in Virginia, and go back to serve out his time with the regiment for the rest of the Civil War. So lots of stories about this particular soldier. If you'll look, his grave is actually different than all of those around it. If you look at the design of it, it's a lot of mysteries with this one.
Right, it doesn't have the, what is that, Sons of Confederate Veterans, or some United Confederate Veteran logo, perhaps, I'm sure, but it doesn't have that design, obviously. Very plain.
This is also one that it's a name that is referenced by Engelbrecht as one of the burials.
That's right, Engelbrecht mentions that.
Yes, that he sees. So we've been talking, Dana's been talking and giving a lot of quotes about Jacob Engelbrecht, the diarist. He comes out here after Antietam and talks about watching the burials as they're taking place.
Right.
And labels, and writes in his diary as Raisin Pits as one of those soldiers.
Probably captivated by the name, just as, yeah, absolutely, yeah, exactly. So that is a really very interesting little story. So I don't know if we have much battery we have left, but you have one last chance to say hi to some folks, if there's anybody watching there.
Yeah, Mike Moore is watching.
Hey, Mike.
Christopher Yole is watching.
Hey, how you doing?
Tim Dunkel.
Nice. Tim, how are you?
Judy McMillan, thank you for helping us with the audio. Seriously,
Hi, Judy,
I appreciate it.
Judy.
Thank you. Mike Thompson is watching.
Hey, Mike.
Scott Leatherman, Steve Davis, Dave Waltman.
Excellent.
Ryan Kaiser is here.
Hey, Ryan.
Brenda Glass, which is Ed Glass.
Oh, yeah, Ed, what's up? How you doing?
Stephen Boots, lots of people. Chad Myers.
Thank you all so much for tuning in and listening to Jake and I. Feel a little, I regret we didn't get Melissa on camera this time. She's using the handheld today. It's easy to do that when she's got the tripod. We can make it stationary. So you'll get to see Melissa next month or the following. We'll make sure of that. But she's done great camera work again today. I'd really appreciate it. And thank you all for tuning in to this first series of First Mondays for the new year. Like I said, let's hope that this new year turns out brighter and better for all of us. Jake, do you have anything you want to say in conclusion?
No, I'm happy, so happy to be able to be here with you for your first Monday of 2021, which will hopefully be better than 2020.
And I want to actually, Jake lives in D.C. now. He used to work in Frederick, but he works at Clara Barton, and he came up here today to help us with this. And we really appreciate Jake. Like I said, he's been with us before, and I have a feeling we'll be doing stuff with Jake in the future as well. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I really appreciate it. This is Dana Shoaf and Melissa Wynn from Civil War Times Magazine, and Jake Wynn, Director of Interpretation for the National Museum of Civil War Medicine, signing off from the Mount Olivet Cemetery in Frederick, Maryland.